Have you been hearing about Omaha's new ADU rules? Are you trying to figure out how to make multi-generational living possible for you in the Omaha Metro? If you have specific questions about your house, it's obviously best to always just reach out to the city planning department, but this will give you a brief overview of how you can create an ADU at your house. My name is Morgan Putnam and I am a local real estate expert. Let's get into it. Thank you so much for stopping by the Omaha Insider YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and to subscribe to my channel so you're always the first to know what's going on in Omaha. We are at Heartland of America Park, which is part of the whole RiverFront revamped area. And right now there is an ADU display to just show an example of what you could potentially put on the side of your yard or in your backyard for an ADU. These are perfect as a mother-in-law suite or a place for multi-generational living, as well as some rental income. People will use these as long-term rentals or short-term rentals. Recently, Omaha voted to allow ADUs east of 72nd Street in a lot of the different neighborhoods. The city changed some of the zoning rules to allow denser zoning to allow ADUs in backyards. Again, to help folks either have some rental income if they are sitting on a large property but their house is smaller, as well as creating that place for folks to age in place in maybe the kids of their adult, in the backyards of their adult children, or examples like that. So really, this is only happening east of 72nd Street in Omaha, and every neighborhood is a little bit different. But if you're east of 72nd, there's a good chance that you already have the go-ahead to be able to create something like this, or you might be able to request with the city a zoning variance to allow an ADU on your property if there's space for it. On the assessor's website, it's really easy to look up what zoning your house currently sits in. R5, 6, 7, and 8 all allow for ADUs right now. And the city already has some pre-approved plans where you don't even have to talk to an architect or make any modifications to the plan. It's already set to go, good to go with the city, but to meet all of their code requirements. All you have to do is talk to them about where you're going to place it on your land. In the areas zoned R3 or R4, you're going to need a conditional use permit to allow for ADU development, and then you're going to again have to go through the whole city approval process. Along the Orbit Transit route, all you need is planning board approval to build an ADU. You don't have to go through the neighborhood hearing process. That process of talking with your neighbors is called a neighborhood petition, and it can obviously be a little bit tricky to ever get everybody on board in a neighborhood that they're okay with it. So it's easier if you are in a neighborhood that just needs the planning board approval, because people are excited about doing this, about creating higher density living, and in theory, hopefully creating some more affordable housing. Right now, there is a state push in Nebraska to try to approve ADUs to be allowed to be built anywhere in Nebraska. And but we'll see if that actually comes to be. It is still being voted on to see if that'll change any of the rules and regulations around ADUs. I want to take a step back and explain what ADU stands for. It's Accessory Dwelling Unit. It just means it's a separate home that's on a parcel of land that already has a home on it. So this is just a perfect example of what an ADU can look like. This is 588 square feet, and it includes a 94 square foot kitchen, a decent sized living space in one bedroom, bathroom, and then you have a little place for your mechanical and storage, of course, and then there's an entry and a laundry. And so really you can maximize 588 square feet to do a lot for you. With ADUs, they're definitely going to be trying to encourage different storage in unique places, almost like a camper, where you're really wanting to maximize every single square inch of the property. So the cost of building an ADU really is going to vary by the quality of finishes that you put on the inside. They'll range anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000. In new construction, square footage costs usually between $120 to $240 per square foot to build. And so obviously this is like a very fabulous example of what an ADU could look like. These are very high-end finishes that they have rendered here for this ADU example, but it could be more affordable if you put in some finishes that maybe weren't quite as nice. There are different financing options available, not necessarily through the state yet. Hopefully that will come into be if we get some more ADU rules passed, but there are different just traditional financing routes that you can go to be able to afford one of these, or there's always the option of if somebody is downsizing or selling because they need a little bit more help with their living situation, then it'd be a great way to just take the equity that maybe some grandparents would have or parents would have in their house and just use the cash to build an ADU in the backyard of adult children to help age in place. These are very much so multifaceted. There's a lot of different things you can do with an ADU, and in different cities across the US, these are really taking off and are a huge part of the housing landscape. And it's exciting to see Omaha kind of come on board a little bit behind some of these other large cities, but is starting to allow this in their zoning and in their city planning. So if you have any questions about ADUs, feel free to reach out. And if you're curious if your neighborhood allows ADUs, I'd be happy to look into it around your zoning rules for you. My name is Morgan Putnam, and I'm a local real estate expert. My number is 402 720-9886.